Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So many of you probably remember when I got all this food. It was in November. And I was trying to wait for the temperature to get down low enough outside to where I can leave all of this food outside, where the temperature was like around 0 or well below freezing before I packed it. Now, if you all remember, in November, we actually had pretty high temperatures. So one day it would get above 32. The next day would get just below 32. So all of this has been sitting in the back seat of my truck for like over a month. And it's a good thing that my truck is not really our family vehicle, but it has. And I'm finally getting around to packing all of this up. So while I'm packing this though, for those of you that have seen me do this probably on several videos where I show you how I pack these dried products for long term, I am going to be reading off of an information sheet on oxygen absorbers that provides a lot of good information on oxygen absorbers for those of you that have questions about oxygen absorbers. I know I've gotten a lot of questions in the past about how oxygen absorbers work and how you can tell whether they're good or not. And I actually received a pack of oxygen absorbers here about a week and a half ago or so, which I was waiting for to be able to package these up because I ran out. I only have like 2 left from my old stash. And it came with an information sheet that talks all about oxygen absorbers and what to look out for and how to tell whether they're good or not. So while I'm packing this and you guys can see how I'm doing it, I'll be able to voice over that part of the video. So those of you that are interested in learning a little bit more about oxygen absorbers can be entertained with those facts that I'm going to be reading you all. Now, just to let you know, the first thing that I'm going to package is going to be that 100 pounds of sugar, or I'm going to give up between 2 and 3 buckets for that sugar. So whatever fits in 2 or 3 buckets is what I'm going to use that 100 pounds of sugar for. Whatever is left over, I'm just going to keep it for home use. You will notice that I do not use oxygen absorbers when I package the sugar into the Mylar bags. So what I'll be doing is I will be trying to get as much air out of the Mylar bag before I seal it up, because the sugar doesn't really need an oxygen absorber. And if you do put an oxygen absorber inside the container with sugar, your sugar is going to turn rock hard. Okay, so just for those of you that may ask why I'm not including an oxygen absorber with the buckets that have the sugar in it. Everything else will have an oxygen absorber. Here I've got 50 pounds of what I like to call sticky rice or Calrose rice. I've got 25 pounds of long grain rice. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to put about 25 pounds of each in a bucket and see if I can finish filling up that bucket with something else, like maybe with some pasta that I have that I can just finish filling up the top of that bucket with, instead of trying to fill it all the way to the tippy top with just rice. Or I may just fill one up all the way to the tippy top and then the other one put the rest of whatever space there's left over with maybe some of that pasta that I have over here. All right, so that's what it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you have any questions, any comments regarding oxygen absorbers that I don't cover in this video, please put them down there, because like I always say, it's always best when we can learn from each other. As you will see, the 2 bags that I use to put my sugar in are the Mylar bags that I've been using for a very long time. Unfortunately, Amazon does not ship these bags to Alaska anymore, so I had to switch over to a different Mylar bag type. I have not listed that type of Mylar bag, the one you will see me use for the other products that I store on this video, on my Amazon storefront, because I am not sure of their quality yet, and I want to make sure that they work really well before I recommend them for your use. Okay, so I'm going to read to you all the letter that was included in the oxygen absorbers that I purchased, and they are from Mylar Pro. And it says here, included in your package are guaranteed fresh oxygen absorbers. Depending upon which package you purchased, your bags may have an Oxy-Eye freshness indicator sealed inside so that you can visually see that they are still fresh. Pink equals fresh and purple equal expired. So the color of the little eye in the package that you receive, if you buy this type of oxygen absorbers, when you get them, they should be pink. If they are purple, it means that the oxygen absorbers inside are no longer good for use. If your package does not have the indicator inside, then there is another easy way for you to be confident that the absorbers are indeed very fresh, that they will start to get slightly warm within about 15 minutes or so of being exposed to the air, on account that there is a thermal chemical reaction taking place to suck out the oxygen. Likewise, make sure that you seal back up any unused absorbers into a vacuum sealed food saver type bag or glass canning jar within 15 minutes or so after opening the master bag, to make sure that the unused absorber retains optimum freshness for later use. Another important note is that there is a common misconception that an oxygen absorber is supposed to remove all of the air inside the bag. This arises because people forget that oxygen components of the air we breathe is only a small portion. In fact, oxygen only makes up about 20% of the air, and the remaining 80% is nitrogen. Therefore, understand that since the oxygen absorber won't suck out the nitrogen too, that they are not designed to create a complete vacuum seal inside your Mylar bag. And to show you an example of this, ladies and gentlemen, stay till the very end of the video, and I'm going to show you what my bags look like after they've set overnight, after they've been sealed with oxygen absorber. And continuing, sure, you should see some of your sealed Mylar Pro bags shrink a little after a couple of days or even after a couple of weeks, but it is not necessarily supposed to cause it to become completely snug against your ingredients inside. It all depends upon the type of ingredients you are storing and how well they were packed together. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. As far as time goes, between prep time, obviously after having all of my dry goods frozen for a few days and letting them come to room temperature for a few days inside the house, take that away, and then the prep time to set up the buckets, get the Mylar bags, get everything ready to go, and then actually do everything. I've been working at this, let me take a look at the clock, for about an hour, hour and a half. And that's, of course, stopping for, the video and all that kind of stuff. So I would say that if I was just doing this straight, it would take me about an hour. That's not bad for an hour and a half of your time. Okay. Now, a lot of people will probably ask, those of you that have not seen me do this before, why do I store my oxygen absorbers in a mason jar? I've been doing it like this for years, and it's always worked well. You can see almost right away after I put these in there, I got a good seal. Now, if you pull on it really hard, it's going to come off, but it is a seal. Okay, it is sealed there, and I've been doing it this way for years, and it's always worked really well. Now, I wanted to show you the difference between the sensors that they put in your bags. That way you can match them up and you can have an idea of what they look like when they're good. Now, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but you see the eye there? It's like pink. That means that the contents in there are good. The oxygen absorbers in there are good. Now, this is what it looks like when it's not good. See, it kind of turned purple. Let me see. The lighting is not that good. Let me put my hand behind it. But as you can see, it's definitely not pink. Let me put it back here. Let's go ahead and compare these. All right, yeah, we can compare these. That'll be better. But as you can see, let's see. There you go. You can see one of them is definitely darker than the other. And I know my lighting is terrible. But one of them is definitely darker than the other. This is actually not fully to the full color that it's supposed to get. But there you go. All right. And then this is what the good one looks like right here. See how this one's nice and pink? And then this one's not. There you go. And then if you get the other types, they also come with these little guys. And you can see these guys here are completely dark, and they should be pink. So if you ever get a packet of oxygen absorbers and the sensor in there or the indicator is not pink, if it's really dark like this, then that pack is probably not good. All right, that way you don't waste your time trying to use those. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all it takes to do this. I hope you guys appreciated that information that I read out. I actually got those papers with my oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags in the packet that I ordered them in. Now, if you guys want to purchase the Mylar bags that I purchased, I have them in my Amazon storefront. I've been using them for years. They're very good. What I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to leave these stacked like that to make sure that the oxygen absorbers are working. So I'm going to let them sit there for about 1 or 2 days before I put a lid on them, mark them up, and go ahead and stow them away for long-term storage. I'm going to make sure that the oxygen absorber is working and that everything looks good, everything's sealed well, and then I'll go ahead and put them away for long-term storage. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this is too easy. Anybody can do this. All right, so thank you very much for joining in today. I appreciate you guys stopping by and spending a few minutes of your day here today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys held on to this part of the video. It's the next morning after I've done this, so these bags have been sitting here, or these buckets have been sitting here for about, I want to say, let me see what time it is. Probably about 16 hours after I finished recording the last portion of the video. And I just wanted to show you all what it looks like once they've been sitting there and how you can tell whether your oxygen absorber is working inside that Mylar bag or not. Now what will happen is like I explained to you, or like I read to you off of that letter, is that the bag will crunch in on itself a little bit, but it won't feel like a Food Saver bag did it. It won't feel like that. But it will crunch in on itself a little bit, and you'll see that a lot of the air that was in there shrunk down due to the fact that the oxygen inside of the bag has been eliminated by the oxygen absorber. So what I'm going to do is I've got 3 of the buckets placed on top of 3 other buckets in the bottom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift these up so that you can see how well they are holding their shape. Now, one thing that I did forget to mention, ladies and gentlemen, is remember to mark your Mylar bags. That way you can tell what's inside of them. And this is the one that's full of rice. So this is probably about a 35-pound bag. And as you can see, it's sucked in pretty well. And I didn't use any kind of suction or any vacuum or anything like that in these. I just did it just the way it was, just the way you guys saw me do it. This one is the one that has the macaroni in it, along with that extra pasta. And as you can see, even though like the paper said, like the letter I read, you said macaroni and pasta has a lot of void space in it that will hold more air, it still did a pretty good job with that 2000 cc oxygen absorber as far as it taking out the oxygen in it. And this one here is the one that has some rice with pasta in it. Same thing with this one. You can see it's pretty well packed. So that's another thing you want to do once you've packed your product into these 5-gallon buckets, is to leave them inside your house for a few days just to make sure that the seal holds and that the oxygen absorber is doing its job. All right, many blessings, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a good day.